Celtic Cast On Podcast, and welcome to my first ever Floss Tube. Normally this is a knitting, crochet, and quilting podcast, but as of late I've got back into cross stitching, and I thought instead of making my podcast super long that I would do some separate short videos, and Floss Tube would be one of them. So welcome, my name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada, and normally I give a little weather update at the beginning, and today it has snowed. We had some snow last night. We were only supposed to get a couple of centimeters, but it's a little bit more than that. But the temperatures are on the warmer side, so I'm expecting to lose it all again. We'd really like to have a white Christmas. Normally it's green here and then we get dumpings of snow afterwards, so fingers crossed for a white Christmas for us this year. I'm going to give you a little background on my cross stitching. So as well as knitting, I was born in Northern Ireland and went to school there, and we were taught in primary school how to knit, how to cross stitch, and how to beginning sew, just by hand, not with a machine or anything. But that's where my love of cross stitch and knitting began. I can remember doing various projects. I know at the beginning when we first started to cross stitch, we had, it was almost like a piece of cardboard that had the holes in it, and it had a printed picture on it, and we would be able to cross stitch that and practice our skill, and then we could just take it out and pass it on to the next person and they could practice. And that's really where we began with cross stitch. Then when I moved to Canada, we still had home ec at that time in our schools, and I can remember doing a little ornaments like a reindeer. My aunt actually and my cousin were also very crafty, and so they would be doing different cross stitches and things, and I kind of kept the momentum going there. But then the early 2000s, I rekindled my love for knitting and cross stitch as well. I kind of dabbled in cross stitch and knitting, but not really hardcore. I started actually working at a call center, and I remember that during the downtime when I didn't have any calls, I needed something to do with my hands, otherwise I was really bored. So I went into our local cross stitch store, which now sadly just this year they have retired and it is closed. But I went in there and I had a look for some patterns, and I came out with, at this time, this was all the rage, was the Boyd's Bears. And now my husband, who is a firefighter, was at that time trying to gain a job as a firefighter, and I picked this one up to stitch for him. So this is Elliot, the hero, and that is probably, I don't know if it's my first big piece, but that's one of the ones that I worked on. And I actually have a little flashback to show you. I have never actually done anything with this cross stitch since I finished it. I did put it on some foam core, but I haven't hung it up anywhere. It's not really my style, so I don't really know what I'm going to do with them. But there he is, Elliot the bear, and at that time it was all the rage to do all the back stitching, which is not that fun. And one thing that I did forget to do was put a date on it, so I have no idea what date it was. I did put my initials, but no date at all. So that is my little flashback. Since that time, I continued to do lots of different cross stitch patterns, and I'm hoping in the floss tubes to come that I will be able to share some of those with you. But that's my little flashback of my Elliot bear. I can remember my mother-in-law had bears everywhere in her house, and my mom too. She was kind of into the country bear theme, but not so much anymore. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with them other than, hey, keep them. So that's a little kind of background into my stitching, and that's kind of where that call center was, where my cross stitch and my knitting took off. And since then I've just kind of been mostly knitting, but as a few years ago I kind of picked up cross stitch, but I didn't really stick with it until this year, and I've recently rekindled my love and found some cross stitches that I really like. So let me show you what I've been working on. So probably my longest WIP, I'll start with that one, is a pattern called Reindeer Meaning, and it's by UB Designs, who is a German company who design beautiful cross stitches, kind of with a Scandinavian feel, very either like white and red, not a lot of detail in it. That's the kind of cross stitches that I like. I don't particularly like to stitch them. I'm finding that right now. So especially with the white, all the white stitches, it's not really fun. But I will show you my progress. So here's the progress that I have on the Reindeer Meaning. This is on a 32 count silver even weave. Now, had I been more experienced, I would have known that, and I don't even know if you can see them, but can you see the trees? They're all done, they're birch trees, so they're all white with kind of like a tan color in them. Not so fun to stitch on an almost white background. And originally it didn't come on an all white background. I just chose this because I thought it would look good with my decor, but had I thought about it, I would have probably stuck with the brown background so I could actually see the white that I'm stitching on. So while I did enjoy stitching the deers, I'm not enjoying stitching all of these birch trees that go all the way up here and branch off because I can't really see it half the time. But I'm hoping, I'm almost finished. I'm not doing, the full pattern has I think 5 or 6 deer, and there's one like prancing across the side. I'm not doing that. I might do, I think there's one more on this side that I might do to even it off. But then I just need to fill in all of these trees that they're kind of standing in. So I am hoping to get this one finished, but I just need to get back to it. So this is, I'm stitching this one on a Q-snap just for the reason that I cannot see the white. Otherwise I would just be stitching in hand because I do normally stitch in hand. But I did purchase a Q-snap to see what it was like. I do enjoy it, but stitching in hand is so much quicker for me. I'm not a two-handed stitcher where you poke and then you pull. I'm just a one stitch. So I'm using all the called for DMC threads, but yeah, I should have got a darker fabric for sure. So that is, you should check out UB Designs if you haven't already. They have another beautiful book that I really want to do. It's a picture of a Christmas tree. I'll put it up here. It's a beautiful design, and I would really love to get that book so I could stitch that one as well. But I need to finish this first. So that's my first WIP. My second is a more recent, and let me show you. This is living in my bag by Little Boat 88 Designs on, I think it's just Little Boat 88. Yeah, Little Boat 88. She's from Alberta, Canada, and she is on Etsy. And I bought 2 of these bags and I really love them. Originally I couldn't decide on the fabrics, and this was like my second choice. The first one I knew right away which bag I wanted, but with this one I wasn't sure, but I really love this design. So pretty. And then with the red and white polka dots, it's just perfect. So let me show you what is housed inside. So this is the Little House Needleworks, Little House Needleworks Farmhouse Christmas. Now, if you know anything about these designs, they can be stitched as one giant piece, or they come in 9 different designs that you can stitch solely and use as an ornament, or decide however else you want to finish it. I originally I bought the fabric and I was going to do the whole thing. And then I thought, no, I'm just gonna switch it up because I've never made ornaments before, basically. And I wanted to do small ornaments. And then after I saw some completed pieces, I was like, no, I'm doing the entire thing. So this is what I've got so far. This was the first one that I started, and this is number 1. It's Little Red Barn. How cute is that? It is on 30 count portobello linen, and I used all of the call for DMCs. I haven't gotten into classic colorworks or any of the fancy threads yet, but that is all DMC. Now, if you're looking very closely, you'll notice that this corner, the stitches aren't lining up. So I have counted and recounted this row, it's all right. I have counted and recounted this row, it's all right. So I'm assuming that it's the linen that's making it off. And my question, if you are an experienced stitcher, how do I fix that on a linen? How do I make it look like it's the right way? Because I figured I will stitch this next box and see where I went wrong. But I didn't go wrong anywhere. It's all lining up, except for right there. So I don't really know how to fix an off-stitched linen because it's happening on this next box too, on this corner. So if you have any ideas or knowledge on how to fix that, I would love to hear it because I would really like to start this next one. But I don't want to until I get these boxes fixed. And my idea was that I would stitch all of the boxes so then I would have an idea of how big it was and could probably cut some of this linen off. Yeah, but I'm really stuck on how to go any further with that. So if you know, I would love to hear from you. Just put it in the comments and I'll reply to you for sure. So that is the one that I've been working on. How cute is that? The next one down here, I believe, is a cow. And the number 2 that should go here is actually horses. So once I get a little bit more done, I will show you an update. So that's what's been kind of keeping me busy. Oh, there it is. Horsing around is the next one for number 2, if I decide to go across the way. So the next one that I've been working on, and I didn't start this until fairly recently because it came out as a freebie pattern from Hands On Design. So this is my other bag I'll show you really quickly from Little Boat 88. Super cute. As you can tell, I love foxes. Both of them ended up having foxes on them. So this is my work in progress from Little Hand Designs. This is the Mary wreath. I'm almost complete. I have a few here to finish. And then there are actually some pine needles that go across the berries and the leaves. So I'll be finishing that too. So it is a free pattern by Hands On Design, and I will just show you. My daughter has written across the top of this, so excuse the writing, but Hands On Design, and that's what it looks like when it's finished. My colors might be a bit off because my printer needs some more ink. But it's stitched on, I stitched mine on 28 count, and hers was originally stitched on 32 count, but I did do all of the same DMC threads that it calls for. So I'm hoping to get that one finished possibly this week because there really isn't a lot left to do on it, but so I can start something new. So that is my other whip. I do have one little piece of haul to show you. I ordered some needle minders. For those of you that may not be stitching and this might be your first floss tube, I can't imagine, but if it is, needle minders are, and I had one on both of my projects that actually came with my bags. A needle minder comes in various forms. This one that I got with my bags is like a little button or badge, as I would call them, with a magnet on the back. There's a magnet on the that goes underneath your fabric, and then it just magnetizes itself and sticks to your fabric. And then you can put your needle right on top, and it doesn't come off when you're stitching. So that's the idea. I was on Stitch Toolbox Etsy store, and she is in Quebec, which is just next door to me, and I ordered a couple of needle minders from her. Now, the mail has been slow as of late, we all know that, but it took over a month for these to travel one province over. Normally that would be a week, but they just, I don't know if they got kind of misplaced or what happened to them, but they arrived safely, and I was so happy to tell Anna that they did arrive. So these are the two that I got, True North and the Maple Leaf. I thought those were super cute. And these have the really small magnets on them, which are great because it doesn't, it's not heavy for your stitching when you have it on there. So those are my two little needle minders that I'm going to be putting into use now that I've shown them. But she does sell a lot of other stuff on her website. It's not just needle minders. She has some floss rings, floss drops. She sells needle minders. I think she has some fabric too, and maybe patterns. I would have to double check that. But she is Stitch Toolbox on Etsy. You can check her out. So both Canadian designers that have beautiful products if you wanted to check them out. I did actually, I had some pins left over from when I was selling pins, and I turned one of them into a needle minder. So this is my maker pin. I do have quite a few of these left. I have this one, and I have like a minty green maker pin, but I just added some of the magnets to the back, and it makes a really cute needle minder, and it's not too heavy either. So I think I might, if I can get the magnet off. Strong magnets, holy moly. I'll show it to you on my stitch. So I might order some magnets to finish those off and put them in an Etsy shop for you. So now on to the giveaway. I had shown you earlier on my flashback that I had the copy of the Boyd's Bear Elliot the Hero. I would love to give this away to one of you if you are still interested in stitching him. So if you are, please put Elliot in the comments below. Somewhere in your comment, just put Elliot and you'll be entered in to win that one. I have one more that I would love to give away. This is a Dimensions banner kit, and it has not been opened. It says All Hearts Come Home for Christmas, and it includes the little wire hanger and the tassel. Everything in there is included. And I would love to give this away to someone who would like to stitch it. So if you're interested in Elliot, put Elliot in the comments, and if you're interested, let's call this Banner. Put Banner in the comments somewhere as well. So those are the two giveaways for today. And if you're interested, leave a comment below. And if you're not interested, leave a comment below too, because I'd love to hear from you and what you're stitching on. So I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining me. If you want to see more of my floss tubes or my knitting, crocheting, quilting content, then please subscribe or like below, and I can catch up with you next time. Thanks so much for joining me today, and have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrate. Bye.